Hey everyone, Seem here from the channel Handsome Smiles. Welcome to another video. Today's going to be a new series on my channel and it's called the Fragrance Battle. So this is going to be a series where I'll take two fragrances and battle them in 9 different categories, and at the end we tally up the scores and see which fragrance has got the highest score and has won the fragrance battle. So I'll see a lot of comparisons of fragrances, and usually it's a comparison of how they smell. So I see a fragrance and then it's compared to like a cheaper clone or a cheaper dupe. So the comparisons are mainly done on scent. But I'm taking a different take on this one. I'm going to be comparing two different fragrances in terms of smell, but in the sort of same sort of maybe genre or style, so to speak, and seeing which one is the better of the two. So it might appeal to someone who might be looking for both of these fragrances in the market and adding them to his or her collection, and they're thinking which one should they get. So maybe this video might be useful to them. It might be useful to people who have both of these fragrances in their collection and are looking to sell one off, maybe to get money to buy another fragrance. For me, I'm just doing it for fun. I think it's going to be fun to just compare and battle two different fragrances in my collection. I see this sort of comparisons a lot in different other communities. For example, the watch community. I see people comparing, say, the Omega Speedmaster or a Rolex Submariner. People asking which should be my first luxury watch. We see it in the car community as well. People are like, should I buy an Audi or a BMW, or should I buy a Toyota or a Honda as my first car? So let's carry on with this video, the fragrance battle. So I'm going to be comparing these two fragrances in 9 different categories. So the first category is smell, arguably the most important for some people category when it comes to fragrances. Then I'll be looking at performance in terms of longevity and projection. So that's 3 categories there. The 4th category and the 5th category are based on versatility. So we're going to see the versatility in terms of occasions, which one works best as a formal scent, which works best professionally at work or as a date scent. And the 5th category is in terms of versatility, in terms of seasons, which is the best choice for, say, the summer, the winter, the autumn, or the spring, etc. The 6th category is price point and accessibility. So which one is cheaper to buy, more affordable? Which one is easier to get in stores, or do you need to go to specialist shops or shop online? The 7th category is bottle design, which is the fragrance with the best bottle design or packaging. The 8th category is prestige, which one is held in high acclaim within the community by critics alike. And the 9th and final category is probably the most controversial one, which is sex appeal. Which of the two fragrances is most likely to appeal to the opposite sex or maybe garner compliments? So let's get started with the first category, and that is smell. So I've got 2 strips here. I'm going to spray each of them onto these testing strips. I've reviewed both fragrances on my channel, and I've got experience of both of these fragrances for over 10 years. This is a recent new purchase in my collection in the past 2 years, but I had so this is the made in France version, but I had a prior version to this, the made in UK version, which I picked up around 10 years ago. So very akin to this fragrance. It's been part of my collection for a long time, so I'm no stranger to both of these scents. So let's smell Dolce & Gabbana first, Pour Homme. So this one was originally released in 1994 from the house of Dolce & Gabbana, and it opens up with beautiful citruses, along with a very soapy and quite clean lavender note. As the fragrance develops, it picks up some pepper, fresh pepper, and as it dries down, it has a note of tobacco, which gives this a very warm dry down. But it's mainly a very clean, soapy scent, and it keeps that lavender from the opening. This one, for me, whenever I wear it, it gives off the smell of like a suave Italian gent. He's maybe wearing a white shirt, maybe better than the one I'm wearing right now, and he's on a canal boat with a beautiful woman going through Venice. That's the sort of smell that this one conjures up, like a suave gentleman. Okay, let's smell Terre, and then I'm going to tell you which one has won this fragrance battle. So Terre Hermes was released in the early 2000s, released in 2006. The notes behind this scent is, I've just forgotten the notes behind this scent. Terre Hermes smells like the opening is a beautiful blast of citruses. You get two main citrus notes, which are orange and grapefruit. The opening is quite sweet, but as it dries down, it starts becoming a little bit dirtier, drier and earthier. In the heart of the fragrance, it loses the grapefruit and the orange becomes more prominent, but the orange loses sweetness and starts becoming dirtier and drier and earthier, like I mentioned. There's a beautiful mineral quality in the heart of the fragrance, and they maybe say that this is due to the accord of flint, and as the fragrance dries down, it gets this beautiful vetiver accord, which helps to bring out more of these earthier tones in the fragrance. And the nose behind this scent, which I forgot earlier, was Jean-Claude Elena. My mind just went completely blank for a second. If I was comparing both of these fragrances in terms of smell alone, I would have to pick Terre Hermes, and it was quite a close call. I just think Terre Hermes has just that little edge of sophistication, and it comes across a little bit to me bit more niche quality than Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme. If a niche house came out with Terre Hermes, I really would feel like it is niche quality. Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme, don't get me wrong, one of the most beautiful citrus fresh fragrances out there, but Terre Hermes just edges it for me. So the first round goes to Terre Hermes, so it's 1-0. The next category of this fragrance battle is the battle of longevity. Which one lasts longest on my skin? And Dolce & Gabbana it lasts around 6 to 8 hours on my skin. Terre Hermes lasts a little bit longer, 8 to 10 hours. So in terms of this round, Terre Hermes wins. So that's 2-0 to Terre Hermes. Now, in terms of projection, which one projects stronger on my skin? Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme for the first 2 to 3 hours projects quite nicely, very, very noticeable, quite strong projection. But after that, after the 3-hour mark, once the citruses from the opening start becoming softer on my skin, the fragrance really becomes a skin scent, especially in the last part of the fragrance. The 5 or 6 hour mark, then it becomes very, very subtle on my skin. Terre Hermes, for me, the opening is super strong. The first 4 hours or so, very, very strong. I've been noticed a lot wearing Terre Hermes by family members and at work as well. I've actually received a lot of compliments at work when I used to go into the office with Terre Hermes. So projection wise, this round also goes to Terre Hermes. So that's 3-0 to Terre Hermes. Now let's look at versatility in terms of seasons and occasions. We'll look at occasions first. So both of these fragrances are Swiss Army knives of fragrances. Both can work in pretty much any occasions. Both work well as casual scent, work scent. If you're working in an office, both will work really well. Both could work well as a date scent. There's no notes in here which a woman would find displeasing. Work excellently as a formal scent as well. If I was to pick one for every single occasion and as my only signature scent, which an occasion sort of so speaks, I would have to give it to Terre Hermes. I think Terre Hermes just edges Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme when it comes to a scent to wear to work. It has that bit more of a professional vibe to me. I also think it works better as a formal scent. So it just edges Dolce & Gabbana for me on that side. Dolce & Gabbana, I think, works better in more of a casual and date scenario. I think Dolce & Gabbana edges it, but Terre Hermes really beats it when it comes to formal settings. So I'm going to give that round to Terre Hermes. So that is 4-0, I believe. So smell, longevity, projection, and occasions. So 4-0 to Terre Hermes. Next one is versatility in terms of seasons. So again, these are Swiss Army knives in terms of when you can wear them throughout the year. I think both of these work excellently throughout the year. Spring, summer, winter, and autumn or fall. I think these work really, really well. But I'm going to give this round to Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme. This one just works excellently in the summer months over Terre d'Hermès. I feel the citruses in the opening and that soapy sort of lavender quality work so beautifully in the high heat of the summer. Whereas Terre d'Hermès in the really high heat of the summer can become a little bit cloying. Both work, as I've said, really well in the spring, the autumn and the winter. But in the summer, I feel like Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme edges it over Terre d'Hermès. So that is 4-1 to Terre d'Hermès, gets 4 points so far. And Dolce & Gabbana gets its first ever win in this fragrance battle. So the sixth category is price point and accessibilities. Both of these fragrances here in the UK are quite easy to acquire. You can go into most department stores. It doesn't even need to be a high-end store. You can walk into a chemist. We have a chemist chain here in the UK called Boots, and both of these can be picked up, I believe. Oh, actually, Terre d'Hermès, I'm not quite sure if it's selling in Boots or not. I think you may need to go to places like Debenhams. I'm not sure if I've seen it in Boots, but as far as I can tell, both are sold in shops here in the UK and both are acquired online as well. Terre d'Hermès may be a little bit harder to acquire in, say, the cheaper stores compared to Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme, which is probably more popular with the smaller stores as well as the bigger stores. But this round is definitely going to go to Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme because it's cheaper. If you go to a online discount site, say Notina or All Beauty, you can pick up 125ml of Dolce & Gabbana for about £32 to £35, which is excellent. Terre d'Hermès on the other side is a little bit more expensive. I've seen it on discount sites for 100ml, you're looking at around £70. So it's for less juice, it's probably twice as expensive as Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme. So Dolce & Gabbana wins this round. So I think that's the score 4-2. So let's just tally up the scores again. So Terre d'Hermès won in terms of smell, longevity, projection, and occasions. And Dolce & Gabbana won in terms of seasons and price point. So that's 7 so far. Now let's look at the category of bottle design. So which one has the better bottle design? For me, this category goes to Terre d'Hermès. I just think the bottle design is a little bit better than Dolce & Gabbana pour Homme. I love both flacons, but the metal at the top, the cap is a sliding cap, which is quite unique. There's really good quality, if my camera picks it up, sort of detail on top of the cap. There's the H at the bottom to signify the brand name Hermès. So I feel like Terre d'Hermès wins this round as well. Don't get me wrong, this is a really classic design for a bottle. Quite like the way it looks. It's quite iconic to Dolce & Gabbana. So I love both bottle designs, but definitely Terre d'Hermès wins this one. So let's tally up the scores. So Terre d'Hermès won in terms of smell, longevity, occasions, projection, and it won in terms of bottle designs. That's 5 for Terre d'Hermès. Dolce & Gabbana won in terms of seasons and price point. So we've done 7 so far. The 8th category is prestige. Which of these two fragrances are most well loved within the community? Which is most lauded? Which is more popular with the critics? Both are really well respected in the fragrance community. Both are considered designer classics. Dolce & Gabbana was released 8 years prior, so in 1994, whereas Terre d'Hermès was released in 2006. But I think Terre d'Hermès edges it a little bit. It's considered a modern masterpiece, which is as good as any designer fragrance out there. It's considered to be close to niche level for some people. A lot of people consider Terre d'Hermès to be a masterpiece of perfumery. It's considered Jean-Claude Ellen's best work for many people. I believe it was also awarded a Fifi Award, so it was even acclaimed by critics. So this round, in terms of prestige, I'm gonna give it to Terre. So the score so far is 6-2. So within 8 categories, the last category is sex appeal. So which one of these two fragrances are gonna be most appealing to the opposite sex and is likely to garner you more compliments? I think for me, I'm gonna give this category to Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Like I've said, this gives off the vibe of an Italian gent. You come across quite suave and has like a playboy sort of quality. Terre d'Hermès, on the other hand, gives off more of a sophisticated vibe. No doubt I've got a lot of compliments with Terre d'Hermès, but Dolce & Gabbana just edges it out for me. So there you go. Those are the 9 categories. The score, I believe, is 6-3. 6-3 to Terre d'Hermès. So Dolce & Gabbana won in terms of seasons, versatility in terms of season, price point, and sex appeal. And Terre d'Hermès won on every other category, which was smell, longevity, projection, versatility in terms of occasions, and it won in terms of bottle design, prestige, and not sex appeal, and prestige. So 6-3 is the final score. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do let me know if you'd like me to carry on with this series and maybe battle 2 other fragrances. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. Until next time, my friends, see you later.